Kurt Bodnausen from Sportico, and I'm joined by Jess Smith, the president of the WNBA's Golden State Valkyries. Welcome, Jess.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Thanks so much for doing this. So much going on right now. It's been 8 months since the WNBA announced an expansion franchise for the Bay Area. I want to know how has the reaction been from the fan base as well as from the corporate side?
Yeah, I mean, in every regard, the reaction has been very affirming to do this, do it the right way, keep going, build it strong, make sure that you're out in front and inviting everybody in to be a part of it. From a fan base perspective, even when they announced that they would be getting a team, a few thousand people put down deposits right away, which is such a testament to a couple of things. One, this ownership group, they have the trust, to know that they're going to do things and do their best to be the best in every way, shape, and form. You see that with what they've done with the Warriors. But two, that this region of the Bay Area has been ready for this for a long time. And that number is now just under 13,000 deposits as we sit a year away from tip-off in May of 2025. Well, I guess it's due now, so a little bit, 11 months, we'll say. And that's really a testament to the incredible, region that this is, right? The Bay leads the world often in being progressive and innovative. And what you're seeing happen in women's sports is exactly the way to join together and really show the world what's possible. So very fortunate to represent the Bay Area, and the Valkyries games are going to be something. So make sure you set your calendar to join.
And what have those conversations been like on the corporate side with sponsors who want to be involved with the club?
Yeah, partner conversations for us have been, I smile because they've been really fun, to be quite honest. So for me, I've been in this industry close to 20 years. I've represented properties from Major League Soccer, National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, and most recently building Angel City in Los Angeles, with the NWSL. And even just those 5 years ago, walking into brand rooms, there was a lot of education around why women's sports, how to look at the valuations, how to reach this consumer differently and understand that it's not the same consumer and they are looking for you to approach your partnership in a different way. To fast forward to what we're doing now, and the rooms are they're filled with excitement of just how do we do this and how do we do it well? And that is really a testament to time that you're seeing. And it's not just the Valkyries, it's the overall industry. You're seeing it everywhere from media to multimedia, right? These multidimensional athletes, people want to know everything about them. What clothes are they wearing? What brands do they like? How do they represent themselves on and off the court, the field, et cetera? And so the partner conversations are really fun because what we're getting a chance to build and thinking of what our jersey partners will be a part of, in the everyday for us is a big deal. So more to come there. We'll have some fun announcements here this summer.
You bring up Angel City, and on the business side, they certainly came into the NWSL with a bang. I've had multiple people say this new team in the Bay Area is going to be the Angel City of the WNBA. What do you take from your experience with Angel City as you get ready for season one in the W?
The biggest thing to take is to not do things just because that's the way they've been done before, right? To do things that feel right, to understand and build a product that is this product, right? It's not just a sports team. This is a mix of sport and purpose and pop culture. So when you're building partnerships, when you're thinking about game day experience, when you're thinking where your brand will show up, when you're creating a brand and thinking through merchandise, it's lifestyle and sport together. And I think as we put the property together and we put the revenue lines together, that will lead the way of showing, how we think about it a little bit differently, that you'll see others, I hope, have a chance to replicate as well. But we definitely have high aspirations, but there's a lot of good work being done in the W to date as well. So it's really cool to see, the fan experience happening at the Liberty and at the Aces. Now, once we get on the court, I'm not going to like anybody, but for now, I'm cheering for everyone's success, of course.
Well, this is a tight timeline, though. I mean, you're getting the ground. You've got, so you mentioned 11 months to opening tip-off. Where are you in the process? And I guess what are the challenges? You're announced in the fall, and here you got to turn around and do this in May of 2025. What are the biggest challenges you faced coming in?
The biggest challenge is our timing, right? And getting it right, making sure, when there is a hard deadline of what that's going to feel like in May of 25, the first time that we open Chase Center for a Valkyries game, what is that going to feel like? What is that going to be like? So, we are honestly hiring the right people that are going to build this, beside me under the Golden State umbrella is a really big deal. And we don't discount, the work that goes into building that team from day one. For instance, we're going to have an entire ticketing team onboarded at the same time in the next month, right? So it's such a unique experience to basically welcome a class of employees to be like, here's who we are and here's who you're going to be, and building these relationships with those 13,000 depositors, as we enter seat selection. But it's honestly the pressure of doing it right, and making sure that we're not cutting any corners and we're building something that we can build legacy into, and that when we're having those partner conversations, that we're building something for both of our futures that's adaptable to the growth we're going to see. Because right now, you're all a part of this too, but every week, there's a new headline, there's a new growth metric. Obviously, Toronto's coming into the WNBA, the year after we in 2026. So there's a lot to come, and so it's exhausting, but for all the right reasons is how I like to say it.
The Warriors have obviously built a very successful NBA business, most valuable franchise in the league, highest revenue in the league. How do you tap into that and leverage that relationship and what they've built so far?
It's really interesting because often in shared service umbrellas of ownership, sometimes there is a detriment to the new team, right? Where there's not enough resource put against this team to make sure that they can thrive or that they can differentiate themselves from the other one, that is larger, has been around longer, has more fans at this moment in time. This ownership group is committed to not doing that, right? To very much building out the Valkyries in a way that they're going to make sure that we are our own and coming into our own, and making sure that we're as strong as we can be. The exciting part is the Golden State way of doing things, and this group of people that exist under this umbrella together is really special. When I came in and I was thinking about, joining this team, one thing was really apparent for me from ownership down, and that's that these are, folks that are good people, but that are elite at their craft. And that is the culture here, right? That we are going to be great. There is no exception, like keep going. And yet we take care of each other. We help each other. And so the leadership you're going to see from our organizations together in the coming months is a big deal, where visibility, the interchangeability of academy youth having the WNBA and the NBA jersey, so that youth idolize all genders, on the same playing field is a big deal. You'll see a lot of things like that progress out of this, where we hope to set a standard there of how to do this together and value one another's properties separate and yet strong together at the same time. I think the best example of that from a visual is the Steph Sabrina 3-point contest, right? These two incredible shooters, like coming side by side, and so they can both be great at their own craft, and yet when they come together to create something, it's a really special moment.
That's great. And you mentioned the ticket deposits so far, and so how does that work in terms of overlapping with Warrior season ticket holders?
Yeah, right now we're seeing a lower percentage of overlap, which is true to all women's sports, when you really look at it. I think for a long time, our industry just assumed if you're a basketball fan, you're a basketball fan, instead of really thinking through, like there's different fan profiles and consumers that are joining for different reasons, whether you prefer women's basketball, maybe men's basketball a second, or right, even college versus professional, et cetera. So of those 13,000, the majority of them are unique first-time folks that will come into the Golden State umbrella, which is really exciting. I think it also is really affirming to how you're building the property, what the brand is, and what it represents. But of course, we want every Warriors fan to be a Valkyries fan as well. And we think there's a lot of opportunity for Valkyries fans to become Warriors fans too. So there's a lot to do here. But we think once we have our athletes and their ability to work with one another and show up for one another, that's also going to be a big moment for the industry.
And are you expecting that kind of similar path on the corporate side to unfold, where there's opportunity with existing Chase Center Warrior sponsors, but then bringing new people into the fold?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to see a healthy mix of both of those things. So we're having a variety of conversations in both spaces. And, partnership is always, so strategic on timing and when and how, that comes to fruition. So I think there'll be a lot that makes sense for that building for us to be working with. And yet you're going to see brands that identify with our consumers a little bit differently, target specifically working with the Valkyries, versus other entities.
Got it. And so how are you thinking about, you're watching this current WNBA season, incredible amounts of attention that have just seemingly going up exponentially by the week. How are you thinking about that as you build this franchise, as you build this business?
I mean, the thing I feel most every day is just so proud to watch people coming together in various markets and various communities to support these incredible athletes. You can't help, for me, having joined Angel City 5 years ago, from that moment in time to the progress I've seen over the last 5 years. It's remarkable, and it shows that consumers understand their power, more than they ever have before. That watching, listening, attending, buying merchandise, following these athletes, they're doing that, and it's progressing everything forward. So for me, as we're building the Valkyries, we're a little bit competitive. So of course we want it to be great, right? We want that moment, where people, see our brand launch, buy our merchandise for the first time, walk into our building, follow us on social media, to be something that, allows us to lead, but we have to earn that too, right? So very, very aware that, we have to do a lot of listening to our fans, to our partners, to our community to earn the right to be one of the greats. But it's an exciting time to be launching a team, right? With all eyes on us. No pressure, right, at all, to go build something monumental, with the Golden State legacy.
Well, and this is new. We have not had a W expansion team in a long time. So you're blazing a new path in a whole new world with what's happening right now with the W.
2008, right? That's a long time ago. And I think the intentionality around expansion, I give a lot of credit to the leadership, of the WNBA. To This is the time, this is the market. It's been really methodical. It's about that long-term growth and trajectory and stability of building on these ownership groups coming in and knowing how they're going to build these teams. So between us coming in, very excited to see Toronto, having a seat at that table too. These are huge markets, right? That are going to add a lot. And Toronto's obviously adding the entire country of Canada for this league too, which is a big deal for all of us.
Excellent. Well, Jess, thanks so much for walking us through this. Really appreciate the insights today.
Of course, can't wait to chat with more to share momentarily.